Welcome back outside Gillette Stadium, everybody. My name is Mike Petraglia, joined once again for the 2016 NFL season, which begins with training camp. WEEI.com Patriots expert beat writer Christopher Price. Chris, the first day of media availability, Bill Belichick, to no one's surprise, had to address Tom Brady for the first time since Tom Brady relinquished his appeal process and essentially said, yes, I will sit out the first 4 games. We heard from Bill Belichick. We heard from offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. Your takeaways, your biggest takeaways from how Bill Belichick is moving on without Tom Brady for the first 4 games.
I think he was pretty forthcoming when the discussion came up about how the quarterback reps are going to be handled over the course of training camp. Bill said very directly, he said, look, we have to take this time to be able to get Jimmy as ready as possible for that season opener September 11th in Arizona. It's going to be really interesting to see, though, how the reps are divided up. Josh McDaniels talked about how everyone's going to get an opportunity. Again, it's going to be fascinating to see what they decide to do and when they decide to do it over this next month leading up to the regular season.
I thought Tommy Curran had an interesting question for Bill, and Bill had an interesting response, and that is, we really haven't had to deal with, he hasn't had to deal with Deflategate that much directly. I mean, he's obviously, like the rest of us, paid attention to the process in the courts, the appeal of an appeal, as he kind of joked around with us. But he really hasn't paid that much attention to it in terms of getting his football team ready. You take him at face value there, right?
Yeah, there's also, too, a level of clarity now that's established with this team around the quarterback position. They understand who is going to be under center for the first 4 games. Leading up to, about a month or so ago, we really didn't know the situation. Was it going to be Tom? Was he going to be able to get to stay? Was he going to be able to continue to play, at least in some form or fashion, over the course of the first 4 games? Right. Now they know it's going to be Jimmy. Now they can act accordingly. But, yeah, I think right now, I think you have to take Bill at face value when he makes a statement like that.
Also, Bill was asked to kind of read Tom Brady's mind. What do you think's going to... Bill Belichick isn't going to get into the mind-reading game at all.
Yeah, no, he's not going to, go down that road. As the popular phrase out there, there's no cheese down that hole. I think at this point, especially this time of the year. Right. Again, I'm going to be really fascinated to see how this continues to develop over the course this summer. How much Brady talks, how much Garoppolo talks, how the workload is distributed. Josh also brought up today that, Jacoby Brissett's going to get some reps as well. He's going to figure into the conversation. That's not to say that Brissett is going to be the guy under center come September 11th, but he, at least at this stage of the summer, figures into the conversation.
All right, let's talk about something I know you're writing about on WEEI.com. Bill Belichick is entering his 42nd consecutive year in the National Football League. I had a chance to ask Stephen Belichick about that, his son, obviously, who is the safeties coach now this year. And he said, we roomed together as father and son back at Bryant College, and I knew how much he loved it back then. It was day after day after day, the grind, but he loves the grind. Isn't it amazing, though, after 42 years, he doesn't get tired of the grind?
Love him or hate him, and I know they're very serious, entrenched opinions when you're talking about a guy like Bill Belichick. You have to admire the body of work. 42 consecutive years in the National Football League. I asked Dante Scarnecchia, I asked Ivan Fears, 2 of the longest tenured assistants on this staff. Obviously, Scarnecchia not here the last 2 years, but he goes back an awful long way with Bill. Right. Both of them said, look, he is the same as he ever was. He is as old school as they come. And at the same time, Fears brought up a really interesting point. He said, look, Bill is old school, but at the same time, he's been willing to embrace the changes in the game, particularly when it comes to technology. And I think that's one thing that he might have over some other guys who were in the league for an extended period of time, like a Don Shula. He has a little bit more staying power in that regard because he has shown an ability to adapt a little bit. Whereas some other coaches who've been around for an awful long time, they don't have that same sort of adaptability. They're more dogmatic in their approach, and I think that's one of the secrets to Bill Belichick's extended success.
And I had a chance to ask Matthew Slater about this. Matthew Slater and Devin McCourty, the 2 players to speak here on Wednesday, and Matthew Slater said, if there's anybody you would figure has it the NFL and football figured out, it's Bill Belichick, but you would never know it. He hasn't changed from day one, his rookie year to now. It's amazing. It's really amazing to him, and I think that is to Bill Belichick's credit. And the other thing Matthew Slater brought up, and we're writing about this on WEEI.com as well, Tom Brady buys into Bill Belichick the same way Tim Duncan bought into the philosophy of Greg Popovich with the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, and I think that for years we in the media have made that comparison because it's a really easy comparison to make when you look at the power structure of the Spurs franchise, when you compare it to what the Patriots have done, you compare certain aspects of what San Antonio did over the last dozen-plus years with what the Patriots have done in the same time frame. It's an easy comparison to make, but it's one of the first times we've ever heard a player, someone on the inside here at Gillette Stadium, make that comparison. I think it makes a lot of sense right down to the level of success both franchises have had.
All right, that is day one here of Patriots training camp. They actually get on the field on Thursday just after 9 a.m., and it'll be 5 straight days leading to the in-stadium workout and the Kevin Falk Patriots Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Right behind, as a matter of fact, Chris, where we're standing right now, that'll be on Monday. It'll be an interesting couple of days here at Gillette Stadium as they get the pads on this weekend, and all eyes will be on not Tom Brady, but Jimmy Garoppolo. See how many snaps he gets. Follow all the coverage, Christopher, along with yours truly and Ryan Hannibal down here on site at Gillette Stadium as 2016 Patriots training camp gets underway. For Christopher Price, outside Gillette Stadium, I'm Mike Petraglia, WEEI.com.